What is going on out there, people? I hope you are well. So, the topic today is what happens when you stop getting high every day. Myself, I've been sober for 13 years. So, I used to smoke weed daily from the time where I was 18 to 23. Now, when I first got sober, the first couple of weeks, I could feel like my natural self starting to come back. So it was like, I remember looking in the mirror and talking to myself and saying like, yo, I missed you, bro. Like I was really happy that I was getting myself back, because when you smoke a lot, then it's like a part of you that gets numb. It's like you're kind of disconnected from a part of yourself. That started happening, right? And that's the positive. That was the good that came with it. But I also noticed that everything that I had been running from, that I was using the weed for, everything that I was running from came back. Everything came back and it caught up with me. It wasn't like I healed anything. There's a saying that goes, time heals all wounds. But that is a lie. Time doesn't heal, bro. Like it only buries it, only serves to suppress it, to bury it deep, so where you it's not really affecting you on a surface level, but on a deeper level, it 100% is. Also, if time healed all wounds, then generational curses would not exist, because this has been happening. If you look at generational curses, they've been passed down for thousands of years. And so if time really did heal wounds, then we wouldn't have these problems that we continue to run into, the same patterns, until a cycle breaker, an outcast, a black sheep comes into the family line and puts an end to it. Those are the kind of people that get the most amount of abuse because they came here to break it, so they're not willing to fall in line. And that could be met early on with a lot of trouble for yourself if you found yourself in that position. And addiction is just a way to cope. Addiction is just a way to cope with the things that we were not taught to how to handle. All right, so after that happened, right, after everything started to come back, I started looking for answers, but I still, in the back of my mind, there was a want there to want to go back to the smoke, to want to get high, to escape from my reality, because there was a lot of things that I didn't know how to deal with until I had a spiritual awakening when I was 29. So in 2020 comes around, and it was a tough year for everybody. But for me, that year for me is when I went through a deep spiritual awakening. And it's almost like a before and after with the relationship to addiction and with myself too. It's like I remember before that I was sober, but sometimes I still had like that, damn man, like maybe I should just you know what I mean. And then after, it's like, but the reason that happened is because I didn't know how to deal with what was in front of me in a healthy way. So after having the spiritual awakening, I can be in the present moment with myself without needing to run. Okay, and that's a huge difference. And I also look for ways to support myself in a healthy way. Things like spending time in nature, hanging out with friends, playing games, expressing my feelings, crying when I need to, make sure I'm drinking water, make sure I'm eating decent. Because back in those days when I was smoking, I was not taking care of myself. I didn't care what I was eating. It's just about getting away from everything. I just wanted to get away from everything. That's what it was. So yeah, so it was like a before and after, right? And I think for a lot of people that deal with addiction, with getting high, and that they're not actually addicted to the drug, to the weed, to the smoke, they're addicted to escaping their reality, right? Because this is hard out here, right? It's hard being a human right now. And I don't necessarily think that weed is a bad thing, right? Because I did notice, I know I used to even tell my friends this, that whenever you do smoke some, it can actually help you see a different perspective that you're not seeing at the time. So I do believe that weed can be used as a tool and as a way to support yourself if you need that, if you need that different perspective, if that's what you're being called to do or whatever. I don't feel like there's anything wrong with that. I feel like the issue comes when you start to use it as a crutch, if you start to rely on it and abuse it because you want to get away from your life. So you're not actually dealing with anything in your current situation. You're just using it to escape and ignoring what you got going on. And I feel like that's a big problem. But the weed itself, I don't feel like is bad or anything like that, because I do think that there could be a potential use for it. I mean, as we've seen now in the past years, right? So it's not all bad. It's just, what's your relationship to it? What are you using it for? And is that the type of connection that you want to have to it? How you want to do it? But for me right now, I have chosen to stay away from drinking, smoking, any kind of, that type of thing, just because for me, I like my lifestyle, and I definitely feel a lot better than when I used to do that every day. But it did come with me having to face everything that I had been running from, everything that I had been carrying, and it was a lot. And I had help. My mentor there, he was a great help guiding me through the whole process. But it was me that I had to stop running from the storm and turn around and face it and go through it. And it was a very painful process, but it was so worth it. It was the right choice for me. But I didn't do it alone. I had help, and I'm glad I did too. I'm glad that they worked out the way they did, because just now I can see a lot more clear about who I am and why I'm here. Also, just the quality of life, man. Like, I'm telling you, so if you're having a rough time, if you're looking at the storm and think you can't do it, you know what I mean? Like, I'm telling you that it's possible. I'm here to tell you that it is possible. I did it, and I used to smoke so much that it got to the point where I was sick. It made me sick. Like, I couldn't even hit it no more, because that's what it was. So yeah, I just wanted to share a little bit of my journey there with addiction, and I hope, reaches somebody out there, open some eyes, or if it helps anyone out there, that's cool. All right. So thanks for listening. I'll see you next time. All right. Peace.